Mitikaya and all my relations, that's all of you, every single one of you. You are my family, and as such, I care a great deal about you, and I care a great deal about where this family is heading and how we can not just maintain our health, even though right now, speaking of maintaining our health seems like kind of an oxymoron. We have to reclaim our health, and we have to be better. I have been gone for about a week. I went camping with my newly 17-year-old son, Spishek. We went to World's End State Park in upstate New York. One night of camping, 2 nights in a rustic cabin. The rustic cabin was small but wonderful. It had electricity. It's a lot easier to lay electricity lines than pipes with gas or water. So we had an electric stove, we had a refrigerator, we had a blower for the wood stove that was part of the fireplace. We had another fireplace back to back with our indoor fireplace. This was a fireplace on the front porch, which must have been, I don't know, 22 by 18 feet. And there's a nice fireplace there and a picnic bench right by that. And then there's a grove of trees and then a restroom. The restroom, a shower room, cleanest facilities I've ever been in. For both facilities, both for the tent site and the cabin site, just clean. And with the cabin site, even though there were 18 cabins and it seems to me they were all being used. Every time I went into the restroom, there was no one else there. Clean. Wonderful. We had a fantastic time. We took side trips to the Finger Lakes, a side trip to the Finger Lakes, to Watkins Glen, one of my favorite places on the East Coast. Been there 4 times. This was Spishek's 2nd time. And then we went to Tagunik Falls, which I believe is the tallest waterfall on the eastern seaboard in North America, both in the Finger Lakes. So that's why I've been missing, but I'm telling you now, I'm going to be recording a lot more in the next several months. Because as Larry Elder says, I like this, he's right. We have a country to save. So it pains me to say this. I am scared to death of the Democrats. I am. Not of all the Democrats out there, many of you. I'm talking about the Democrat leaders. What the heck are they doing? This is insane. Where do I start? These acts of violence, okay, by the protesters, by most of the protesters invoking Black Lives Matter. These acts of violence are, first of all, the acts of violence are by declared, self-declared Democrats, leftists, progressives, and they are being sanctioned by Democrat politicians, the mayors. I call her Mayor Darksole, Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago, mayors of Portland, New York City, elsewhere. Something bad's going down in Wisconsin right now. These are Democrat mayors and Democrat city councils, and they are allowing these protests, quotes, okay, these riots to go on for months. This is not a question of free speech, and it's not a question of assembly that is allowed by the Constitution. The Constitution says peaceful assembly. Why do I need to say this? So, hurling missiles at the police and anyone else that the protesters turn their ire to, tearing down the statues, burning down businesses. I know a black family, friends of mine or acquaintances of mine in Philadelphia. They lost their business because Black Lives Matter's protesters burned it down. They weren't discriminating. There's a good word for you. They weren't discriminating. They just decided there's a business that is a sign of the establishment. Let's burn it down. Every act of violence I've seen in the past year, pardon me, every act of violence, every every and it's not just physical violence. I'm talking about violence as well as people being torn to pieces on social media. People whose reputations are at stake. People who have lost their jobs. All for innocent remarks. All for saying things that other people said, leftists said months ago, but suddenly things become bad, and it's just a matter of vengeance. It's just a matter of asserting power. This is on the Democrat side. They scare me. They scare me. These riots. I'm living in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia didn't get hit bad with the riots. But as far as seeing smoke rise from Center City 10 miles from here, as far as reading about it on the news, as far as seeing images, stills and video images on the internet and on television, this is because of the Democrats. I had a conversation with a Move On member yesterday, and unfortunately it was short because I really felt it was going somewhere. She decried the violence as well, but she said Trump started the violence. So my response to that was and is, give me an absolute example. Give me something concrete. Show me where he started the violence. I have said many, many times I'm not a fan of the man. Personally, he's a wreck, okay? Narcissistic, personality disorder. Histrionic, personality disorder. Paranoid, personality disorder. An unholy trifecta. But the idea that the Democrats are better than Trump and the Republicans, the idea that Rob Reiner and so many other people said, they're all racist. They're all racist. Everyone who supports Trump, any Republican, any conservative is racist. This is cowardly. This is intellectual cowardice. This is emotional cowardice. This is spiritual cowardice. That you're not taking the time to examine people's beliefs and examine the issues. And I'm going to go back further in this, okay? Historically. Somewhere around, I'll get back to you in later dates with actual figures, but somewhere around, say, 20% of black households before the 1960s, before the welfare reforms put into place by John Kennedy and especially Lyndon Johnson, he called this the Great Society, 4 out of 5 black families had a dad in the household. 1995, I would imagine there have been studies since then, but I know of 1995. Now it's 1/3 of black households have fathers in the household. That's insane. The saddest thing that I ever dealt with when I was teaching at a GED in North Philly back in 2007. Every single student in my class, every single one, and I had, say, 50, 60 kids go in and out. They were never the same 2 kids 2 days in a row. That was sad in itself. But all those kids, not one of them had a dad in the homes. Not one. Saddest thing ever. And Black Lives Matter, the organization, they want to disrupt the Western model of family. They're actually trying to turn the idea of no black fathers in the family as a cultural thing, as an African thing, as an African American thing, as a good thing. It is not. It is not. It is not. They have stated that they want to disrupt. They have stated that their priority is black families, which include lesbians, queers, women, children. Very pointedly, men were not listed, are not listed. I'm not going to play games with you here. Black Lives Matter, the organization, is a horrible idea. Black lives are sacred. They are absolutely sacred. And the idea that I or any other white person or any other non-black person needs to state that, it's kind of insane. Black lives are sacred. Black lives, like any life, is sacred. But the organization Black Lives Matter does not say that. And every day I'm seeing more and more black folks coming onto YouTube and saying, hey, this Black Lives Matter. No. Why aren't they here when mostly black men and black boys, right, teenagers, are taking the lives of other black men and black boys and black children? Where the heck are they? I've lost friends from these black murderers. And were they at the funerals? Did they write anything? Did they say anything? No. I find that deeply offensive. The Democrats are the enemy. They are the enemy. So you have this great society put into place in the 1960s. Has anything improved? No. Things have gotten worse. Black people, individuals, and individual families, individual groups have escaped the urban areas, the ghettos. They have made something of themselves. They did it because of their belief in themselves. And they did it because of what they achieved. Not these, quote, handouts from the government. I mean, my son's school is giving out, first of all, they gave out all these EBT, all these welfare cards for food throughout the summer. They give Chromebooks to anybody who wants it. Now they're giving backpacks to everyone who wants it, even though school is completely virtual. So it will be that eventually, if not now, the numbers will grow, is what I'm saying. Now you have kids and families who are saying, this is mine. These free backpacks, these free computers, all this food, this is mine. I don't need to lift a finger. I am not putting people down. I am telling you that the Democrat Party is putting people down. I am telling you that the Democrat Party is allowing folks to use violence, to burn, loot, pillage, kill. I'm telling you this. This is the Democrats. Republicans have problems, I know that. The Democrats will destroy this society. Friends of blacks? Nonsense. Nonsense. What a farce. What burlesque. Not true. Friends of Americans? Not true. Friends of human beings? Not true. So I'm telling you right now, and I will keep telling you this, and I invite anybody and everybody to question me on this, to converse with me on this, debate me on this. If you want to get into shouting matches and try to talk me down and insult me, I have no interest in that, but I guarantee you I can give with the best of them. People who know me know that. I am not backing down. We have a nation to save. In the next 2 months, oh my God, the Democrats cannot take power. Period. They are enemies of America. Now, I'm talking about the Democrat leaders. Everyone can find redemption, right? Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Black Lives Matters founders and leaders, they can find redemption. But they need to talk, they need to converse, and they need to open their friggin' eyes. You can't just put out these sayings, these short little sound bites, these memes, and think you're actually making an argument. You're not. You might as well just be doing la 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 la. There's a lot of conservative and libertarian pundits saying the same thing. They're coming off as being more than a little, well, maybe not more than a little. They're coming off as being a little tone deaf because they are talking over and they are insisting that they're right and the other person is wrong. And some of them, they have these live feeds, so you have the conversations, the comments scrolling next to them. So you have all these people who are just having their own beliefs confirmed, and they write that, yeah, the Democrats are this, and then the Democrats have to do the same thing, and yeah, the Republicans are this. I am talking about having a conversation. I am talking about winning votes over. I'm talking about winning hearts and souls and minds over from the pernicious, toxic stratagems of the Democrats. Do not vote Democrat. Not now. Not now. People can be redeemed. They can change. And if they start trying to change in the next 2 months and say, yeah, we really should get more involved with the black men shooting other black men, and getting involved in those funerals, and getting involved in stopping those deaths, and getting involved in stopping the riots, that's going to come too little too late. Do not forget that they let this go on since what? Late May? If they're doing this, it's just trying to win votes. So all they want is votes. Actually, pardon me, the votes, or a means to an end, all they want is power. That can be said of any politician. I get that. I'm not looking for power here, folks. Not me. I'm looking to try to open hearts and minds and eyes and souls. I'm looking and I'm trying my best to do that, and I will continue to do that. Listen, 17 and a half minutes. I hope you stayed with me this long. Peace, four fingers. And I will talk to you very, very soon.